Hi, and welcome to my channel. I'm Anita Burns. Over the last 40 years or so, I've been a trance channel for a being of light who calls himself Johar. This playlist contains transcribed events and sessions I've recorded over the last 20 years or so. Johar has spoken on a wide variety of topics. This one is about the dark forces and dangerous side of the spirit world and how to be safe. And please like, subscribe, and share if you find this in any way useful and helpful in your life and your spiritual journey. Thank you. This is such an important subject to be brought into awareness at this time, especially because of the major developments happening on your planet, both materially and spiritually. These energies are flowing into your planet to awaken more who are ready. As you become closer and closer to the big change, there's a wider separation between light and dark, and the dark forces become heavier and more prevalent and more intrusive, and the light becomes stronger and brighter. But we are here to talk to you about earthbound spirits and dark forces. We hesitate to use the word evil because that has religious connotation. But this is by no means confined to any religious ideology or religion or religious belief. What so many do not understand in your reawakening of interest in what you call metaphysics or spirituality is that it is not all light and love and golden and beautiful. It will be one day. But at this time, if you look around at the diversity of personality and soul and spirit in your world, and humans, you realize that there is a wide variety of what people believe is right and good. It will be the same after you leave your body at what you call death. For a while you have all the same beliefs, fears, loves, hates, worries, stresses, attachments, wants, and needs. You do not change much. The only thing you realize after you leave your body is that there is life after death. And you gravitate to a place in what you call the astral realm that matches the energy field that you bring with you as your astral body. If that was full of violence and greed and all of those nastiness things, then for a time you will gravitate toward a reality that matches that. After an opportunity to shed your dark energy, attachments, and troubled emotions, or your need for power and other difficult beliefs, you can transform away from the troubles of the life you had. You can do a second crossing over into a more peaceful existence. Probably none of you listening to this will be plagued with powerful shedding, but there is always a time of trial when you must let go of many things. As a psychic, medium, channel, or energy worker, you can be in danger if you are not aware of who or what your source is. If you do not take precautions, you could be in danger of attracting someone from the lower realms who wishes to fool you, who wishes to be mischievous, or do real harm. That is why a good teacher is extremely important in the intuitive and healing arts. Dark forces and tricksters. Know the source. Know that without knowledge of what the spirit world actually is and how it can interact with your life, there is danger when using your skills. These dark forces can ruin your health, lead you astray, wreak havoc with your relationships, jobs, and so forth, because you listen to a voice within that you think is a spirit guide or an angel or some other high consciousness being. So you are told by trickster dark spirits to play certain numbers and you will win the lottery, and of course that guidance fails. You are told to quit your job, the universe will take care of you, and you find yourself living with relatives or on the streets. And we know many of you listening are very psychic and very intuitive and do wonderful work with people. It is vital to know your source, to test your source. Just because you lead a life of light does not protect you from the intrusiveness of willful lower astral beings or earthbound spirits or dark forces. Just surrounding yourself with white light and doing a little affirmation truthfully is not enough. If you are a Christian, just having a Bible and a crucifix will not be enough. If you are a Buddhist, just having a picture of a Buddha and saying your mantra will not be enough. A Bible and a cross are only powerful if the spirit you're trying to scare away was a Christian and holds those beliefs about hellfire and damnation. There are other ways to protect you, and we will tell you this in a moment. Always be absolutely sure you are safe in doing the things your guides tell you to do, and that you connect only to the highest source when you do your work. Haunting. Haunted houses, buildings, or places, and we say haunted as opposed to just occupying, because there are beings who do not know that they have died. It is more prevalent now in your modern time than in ancient times, because much of your society does not support open belief of life after death. If people are not prepared for what happens afterwards, they may not know what to do after they leave their body. If souls are atheists and have strong beliefs about there being nothing afterwards, they usually just experience nothingness, a sort of sleep for a while before awakening. But they are usually crossed over when they do. Someone who has held on to strong convictions about heaven, hell, or some kind of afterlife will experience that for a while before the delusion fades and they find themselves in an astral world that fits their soul age. But in your world now, where religion is not the strong ruling force it once was, a great number of people hold little or no convictions about the afterlife. It is these who occupy their homes or places of business and such because they don't know or won't accept that they are dead. There is another reason for some souls to stay around and not cross over, and that is if they die suddenly, or if they have great attachment to family or home. They may not know they're dead, or they are afraid to leave their loved ones. There is a light that tries to beckon them to cross over into their afterlife, but it is not one that is so compelling they cannot ignore it. Also, those who grieve who are left behind, if they don't let go of the grieving after a certain period of time, they hold the spirit to them and do not allow them to cross over. If you do not believe in an afterlife, when you die, you first think you're dreaming. Time is distorted in this half-world, and someone can live in a house for years and years and years and not know that much time has passed. Time is different. And so a spirit can, in its own world, experience the home around them as the same as it was when they lived there, even though other people have moved in, changed the furniture, painted the walls, knocked out a wall, or put in a staircase. They experience it in a half-life reality that builds around them the house the way it was. They may or may not even be aware that you are living in the home. If they do become aware of you living in their home, they experience you as an intruder in some way because their consciousness is not the same as yours. Their time of reality is different, but they don't realize it. They still do not know they have died or refuse to accept it. No one came to get them, or they completely ignored it, or they were so attached to their home they wouldn't leave it. And so, when they experience you as an intruder, they do what they can to move you out. These are sometimes called poltergeists, where they will throw things at you, move furniture, collect enough energy from you to appear in a way that you can see them and even hear them. In order for them to communicate with you, they must draw energy from your body. And that is the only thing that makes them dangerous. Because you become weaker, your health suffers. It is a service to communicate to these beings and let them know they've died, or that it's important for them to cross over into the light. Often this will happen in wars. Soldiers will die and not know they're dead. Or in train or plane crashes, explosions, or even murder. Invasive spirits. Now we want to talk to you about invasive spirits. Not those who don't know they're dead, for these really do know that they are dead. And they are so attached to their earthly sensations that they remain in the material plane, a part of it, but not a part of it. They may be afraid to move on. They may be afraid of what they believe about a vengeful God or fire and brimstone. They may be afraid if they move away from the earth, they will no longer exist. They may be still holding on to addictions. They may have had mental problems that are not solved or shed because they did not cross over. Alcoholics will often hang around bars and enter into the body of those who are drinking to get that sensation. People who are addicted to tobacco will hang around people who smoke and get into their bodies and try to experience that. Drug addictions are the same. Sexual addictions are the same. There are ways to protect yourself from these invaders, hitchhikers, or attachments. And there are ways to know and to sensitize yourself to this sort of energy so that if you are close to it, you know it is there and you can repel it. The bad news is, if you have a very bright aura, a great light, they are attracted to it like a moth to a flame. So clearing is still required, even if you are awakened and aware. Dark souls. Another kind of spirit to avoid are those who are so dark that not only do they wish to experience through human sensation again, they want to push you out of your body and take over. This is what is known as possession. What used to be called demons in certain belief systems are actually spirits of those who led lives of deep corruption, twisted emotions, destructive minds and deeds. But these dark souls can possess your body, but not against your will. All you need to do is have strong will and say no. They cannot go against your will, but they can try. Then there are those who will occupy not necessarily your body, but get themselves incorporated into your aura or your energy field and share your energy. This is the most common kind of spirit attachment. They can be there for a long time without you even knowing it. And yet you will have odd things happen in your life, and personality changes, and strange cycles of moods, and odd dreams, and so forth. Most people have had at least one hitchhiker or tag-along. It is extremely common. Shells. There is another category of what people think are ghosts or spirits, but are not. Quite often these are famous ghost events. It is said that every manor house and castle in Britain must have a ghost, or it is not a legitimate manor house or castle. Perhaps, but those hauntings are most often not real spirits or souls. They are recordings of intense moments in time and are called astral shells. An astral shell is if you had an experience in your life that was so emotionally traumatic, dramatic, or intense, you leave an imprint of yourself doing or being in that particular experience. This can exist for decades, even centuries. These shells have no consciousness. They are simply echoes in time, and they are not the person they were. It is like looping a recording. The shell will repeat the same task or activity over and over and over again. For example, you can go to a certain road at a certain time of night, and you could see a woman in white crossing it. That's an astral shell. There's no consciousness there. It is a repetitive action. It is simply an imprint in the energies that is so strong it remains. One such phenomena is the so-called ghost of Abraham Lincoln, who walks the halls of the White House at night. This shell was created because he was so concerned about a dream he had of his own death. And that left his imprint there, doing that same thing again and again and again. Pure dark forces. Related to shells, but more dangerous, are the pure dark forces. These are not souls or spirits. They are formed from the intense thoughts, emotions, and beliefs of a great many people joining together and creating a dense thought form that takes on a consciousness of its own. The energies of all those people who perpetuate this kind of dark, twisted, and cruel lifestyle move into the atmosphere and coalesce and take on a pseudo-life that can move out or stay in the area where it was formed. Being around these forces or beings will affect you physically. Even if you think it's just your imagination, you can feel those pseudo-beings when they are near. They are harmful only in that they affect your energy field. They affect your thoughts and your physical health. How can you protect yourself from these things? The good news is that it is easier than you might think. So many of you have been told white light. Let us go on record right now and tell you that white light does little or nothing against dark forces or spirits. White light is not strong enough to overcome or to repel them. At one time it was, but not anymore. Strong and focused intention is enough to create an effective barrier, but often it is difficult to create and hold on to strong focus and intention. You have to have no other thoughts or feelings for your intentions to work. Then it is almost magical in its power to protect you. Color also works. There is a particular color that is effective and antagonistic to dark forces. It's cobalt blue. Just imagine yourself surrounded by a bubble of cobalt blue and put your white light on the inside, closer to your body. And around that, place a layer of gold light. Gold repels anything that is harmful to you. And then you can say your affirmations or intentions. If you know you are going to be out in the public or needing to be with people who are troubled or maybe having to go into a place where spirits or dark forces may dwell, simply clear your mind and calm your emotions. Surround yourself with the colors. This will also sensitize you so that when you walk into a place, you know if it is of the light or of the dark. Or perhaps it is mixed. If you come close to someone, you will know if they have attachments or spirit visitors. Forces of light. At the same time, there are forces of light and compassion caused by the same joining together of thought and emotional energy. This light is powerful and can change many things. Many people praying, many people sending healing or light or coming together in a common benevolent belief will create a force of light that has power to uplift, to cleanse, to inspire. Protecting from spirits, hitchhikers, and attachments. So what if you don't have dark forces around you, but you do have spirit visitors? What if you have hitchhikers or attachments? And many of you do. How do you have spirits move on? You can go to a person who has the skill to detect and dislodge the spirits and send them into the light, or simply send them on their own way, elsewhere. You can ask beings that many people call angels, if you wish. Archangel Michael, for example, has that as one of his areas of responsibility. Simply call Archangel Michael and say something like, "Take these spirits somewhere else." It will be done. It's that simple. Now I know you really wanted it to be hard, and you wanted us to tell you that you had to draw a circle of salt around you, put 3 candles of a certain color, and light them, recite a long poem, dance under the full moon. But no, you don't have to do any of that. It is simply your intention and your will and asking for assistance. Angels, generally, with few exceptions, do not interfere with your life unless they are asked. And it is so simple to ask. And then they rush in to rescue, and they will clear you and clear your friends and clear your family and your house and take the spirits wherever they need to go. You don't even have to be concerned about it. It is that easy. Now, occasionally you will have a spirit with you who has been there a long time and says, "No, I'm not going anywhere." And they get very stubborn. Then you leave it to the angels to take care of, and you insist that this is your body and your body alone, and they cannot share it. And be really angry about it, or adamant, strong, and stern, and they cannot stay. So it's that simple. But you all have the power to heal yourselves of these things. You do not need anyone else to do it for you, and with that said, we will say there is an exception to that. Sometimes the spirit is so overpowering and overwhelming and has drained you of so much energy that it is difficult for you to get into that state of adamant strength and authority. When that happens, call on a friend to help you with this, or call on Archangel Michael. How do you know? Sometimes you do not. Sometimes you have these things that are so subtle in you that you suspect there may be something, but you're not sure. You can always ask. You can always clear. You can always ask for help. Eventually, the spirits who haven't crossed over will do so soon. Some take a bit of time to do that and stay around as long as they can, or they manifest back to the material world for a number of reasons. You can clear your space if you want to, and put up a barrier they can't cross. Now it is time for us to end our talk. Namaste.